What if your next meal could either strengthen your arteries or slowly damage them? The choice may be more powerful than you think. Welcome to this deep dive into How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. Today we'll explore the 5 heart-protective foods that support healthy arteries and the 3 practical eating habits that can naturally improve your cardiovascular health, especially after the age of 40.
Yeah, and that age factor is just so crucial to consider because, we usually just assume our arteries harden naturally as we get older, right? But this research reveals that cardiovascular decline is, well, it's largely a choice we make at the dinner table.
Right, which leads to this fantastic analogy from the book. So imagine whacking your shin against a coffee table.
Ouch.
Yeah, right, it gets all red and swollen. But if you just leave it alone, it heals. Now imagine whacking that exact same shin 3 times a day, like at breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I mean, it would never heal. And Dr. Greger argues that's exactly what we're doing to our arteries with a standard Western diet.
So we're just constantly injuring them all day.
Exactly. We're hitting the endothelium, which is this really delicate, single-cell thick inner lining of our blood vessels. When we flood our system with highly processed foods, we're basically hammering that lining, causing all this inflammation.
Wow.
But the human body is incredibly resilient. When we stop injuring the endothelium by switching to whole plant foods, it actually stops inflaming and begins to repair itself. We basically just put down the hammer.
But that's only part of the story. I mean, what about the plaque that's already there? We're conditioned to think that if your cholesterol is high, you absolutely need a statin prescription. Can food actually rival a manufactured pill?
I know it sounds like a stretch, but let's look at the actual clinical mechanisms. Statins block an enzyme that the liver needs to make cholesterol, right? Whole plant foods do something similar, but they just radically reduce the raw materials your body uses to build that bad LDL cholesterol in the first place.
Right, so you're just cutting off the supply.
Exactly. By centering your diet on plants, you can naturally drop your LDL under 70 milligrams per deciliter.
Which is like the magic number, right? Because at that level, the data suggests you become essentially heart attack proof.
Yeah, and you get those statin-like benefits without, the risk of muscle pain or liver toxicity.
Most people never realize this.
Yeah.
But the physical mechanism driving a massive amount of that cholesterol reduction is fiber.
Right, but not just any fiber.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty skeptical of those generic get adequate fiber guidelines.
Yeah.
People just force down a piece of dry wheat toast and think they're good. But the science shows a highly specific ratio is needed, right? Like 25 grams of soluble fiber.
Towards things like beans and berries.
Yeah,
Right.
plus 47 grams of insoluble fiber from whole grains.
And that distinction really matters mechanically. So, soluble fiber turns into a thick gel in your gut. It literally binds to cholesterol and traps it so it gets flushed out instead of, reabsorbed into your bloodstream.
Oh, wow, so it's an actual physical trap?
Yep, and then the insoluble fiber acts like a broom, just sweeping everything through your digestive tract to keep it all moving.
Here's where things become really interesting. So fiber handles the gut, but what about keeping the physical blood vessels relaxed? The book mentions nitric oxide, or NO. I initially pictured like race car engines.
Yeah, it's not quite that kind of nitro, but it's this invisible chemical messenger our body makes to tell our arteries to widen and relax.
Which keeps blood pressure down, right?
Exactly. But free radicals from a bad diet can destroy our natural NO. So if you eat antioxidant-rich berries, they act like a biological bodyguard for your nitric oxide.
Wait, really? And then you also eat nitrate-rich food like beets and dark greens.
Right, because your body physically converts those into extra NO. So you're protecting the gas you have and you're pumping more into the system.
The next food may surprise you. Because what if the physical pressure of the blood is already too high? The book highlights this highly specific trick with ground flax seeds.
Oh, this is fascinating. Just a few tablespoons of ground flaxseed a day lowers blood pressure 2 to 3 times better than a grueling aerobic exercise program.
That is insane. How does a tiny seed even do that?
It comes down to these phytonutrients called lignans. Flax seeds are just loaded with them. Combined with omega-3s, they drastically reduce inflammation and physically relax the muscle cells embedded in your arterial walls.
Okay, so let's turn all this into 3 practical habits you can start today. Habit 1, eat 3 daily servings of whole grains.
Yeah, because that heavy dose of insoluble fiber physically slows the narrowing of your arteries over time.
Giving your blood a wider path.
Yeah.
Habit 2, eat a half cup of beans, like pinto beans, daily.
Right, because as we covered, that soluble fiber turns into a gel and actively traps cholesterol.
And habit 3, Eat a handful of nuts, like walnuts, at least 5 days a week.
Because the healthy fats and plant sterols in nuts improve endothelial function so well that it's linked to a significant extension in your overall lifespan.
Incredible. So, to recap, whole plant foods heal the endothelium, beans and grains drop LDL cholesterol through specific fiber ratios, beets and berries boost nitric oxide, and flax seeds provide lignans to drastically lower blood pressure.
It's a hugely powerful toolkit, though we should remind everyone this deep dive is strictly for educational purposes and does not replace professional medical advice.
Absolutely. But if simple plant foods can literally reverse our #1 killer, what other dormant healing powers is your body just waiting to unleash?
It's a wild thought to chew on before your next meal.
Which of these heart-protecting foods surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments.
If you enjoy learning from the world's best health books, subscribe to Mosaic Health 40 Plus Hale.
This episode was inspired by How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger and enriched with insights from the author's interviews, podcasts, lectures, and public discussions included in our research sources. Because better health starts with better knowledge. Books, science, better health. See you in the next Mosaic Health 40 Plus episode.